Hello and welcome to this week's edition of DPTV News in HD. Top of the morning to you. I'm going to throw that off over there. St Patrick's obviously tomorrow. I'm allowed to do that. I'm part Irish, but only on the Irish side. Headlines this week are Lauren thrilled with Crufts Award. We've got Creative Assembly inspires next generation. And new 100-mile closed road Sportive sells out in 4 days. We've also got some other bits today. We're going to be speaking to the infamous John O'Sullivan. That's going to be interesting. We've got my feature, Top of the Pots. That's good. Anyway, and we've got other things like the Peter Rabbit release from the Capitol Theatre. Loads of other bits and bobs, competition and stuff like that. So stay tuned. Welcome back. So the headlines, this week's first headline is our front page story, and it's a great story. This is about Lauren Ashby and her recent award, the Young Braveheart Award at Crufts, which is great news. Now Lauren's been through the wars a bit. In January 2017, she was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma stage 3 and has undergone 6 months worth of intensive chemotherapy. While she went through that, she still did all the training with her dog Percy, the cockapoo, and obviously managed to get into the competition and win an award. So massive thumbs up to Lauren and dog Percy. Okay, so our second headline is Creative Assembly inspires the next generation. Now, if you didn't know, Creative Assembly is the UK's largest games studio, and they're based literally just down the road from me here. Now, they do games such as the Total War series. They've also done Alien Isolation and amongst many others. I know quite a few of the chaps that work in there as well. Now, recently they had the Year 9 students of the Weald visit them so they could show them all around the studios and inspiring them to look into maybe doing careers in the gaming industry themselves. So thumbs up again for the Creative Assembly. Well done, guys. Okay, so our third headline for this week is the new 100-mile road closure Sportive that sold out in 4 days. This we're talking about the new Velo, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, I've got to be honest. But it's a bike ride and it's happening on the 23rd of September. As I said, all the tickets for entrance have now sold out. I think it's about 15,000 people have entered. But if it's your thing and you want to spectate, get on the website, it's on the screen now, and have a look at the route. Okay, so next up is me and my old mate John O'Sullivan, and you may remember him from some of the silly, disgusting things that he's done in the past. He of course used to own the Candy Box and used to put out those hilarious A-boards with the headlines on. I won't repeat any of those because they were all nasty. And he was also, one time I remember he got a ticket for parking and he paid the fine in pennies set in jelly. I thought, which was a novel idea, and since done that myself. So fantastic stuff. Anyway, so on to the interview with John. Wish me luck.
So I wrote down a load of words. Are you allowed to say these, okay? Am I allowed to say Am I allowed to say Am I allowed to say I'm obviously not going to say those ones. Can I also say some what else is there? Can I say bonk?
Yeah, bonk's fine, mate. I think bonk's all right. Okay, so here we are with Mr. John O'Sullivan. How are you, sir? Good. Wish me luck. So you're here to talk about your up-and-coming show at the Horsham Rugby Club, aren't you? And so talk to us about it, John. What's going on?
It's on the flyer.
Wonderful. Okay, good. And when is it?
It's on the flyer as well. Also on the Facebook as well.
On your Facebook page, you say?
Yeah.
On his Facebook page, John O'Sullivan.com.uk. And so you're not seeing you for a while, have you, John? What have you been up to much?
Been in jail.
Jail? Good.
Sexual offences.
Okay.
Historic.
Okay, all right. Fantastic. So, and how's your dog?
Dead.
Okay. So, the... I think it's quite enough if we can just go to Piri's Watch now, Mike. Cheers. Okay, so here we go again, Piri's Watch, fantastic. It looks all good and proper. It's stuff happening, I think. It looks very similar to last week, I've got to be honest, but I haven't got a trained eye in the building world. And my finger seems to be approaching from the top left. Ignore that, please. Thank you. Fantastic. Oh, Piri's Watch. Anyway, so my next feature is, of course, we've all been waiting for it, Top of the Pots. Now, I'm obviously referring to potholes, not plant pots, because that wouldn't really be that relevant. So let's go to the feature now. Okay, at number 5, we've got the terrible twins of Monksgate. Straight in at number 4, the Compton's Crater. New for this week, we've got the Brighton Road Banger. Coming in at number 2, we've got the Southwater Shocker. And the new number 1, we've got the North Street Nasty.
I'm sure that was Nicky Campbell on keyboards. Anyway.
Fantastic, fantastic. Number 1 there. Now, of course, there's only 5 there, and I'm sure there's more than 5 potholes in our lovely Horsham district. Now, you can nominate your favourite pothole by emailing me at dpearson@thedistrictpost.co.uk. See if we can get that top spot next week, shall we? Cheers. Okay, so yes, he's back up in the game, letting all the people know that he's back to run the show. Return of the Russ.
Right, I'm back, as you've heard. I'm back for the sport. After all that bad weather we've had, I'm here to report on all your local sporting bits and pieces. I've got a couple of games to cover this week. I would normally start with the football, but there was none. The pitches were waterlogged and weren't good enough to play on, so we'll crack straight on to the hockey. Ladies hockey to begin with. Horsham playing against Basingstoke, running out 3-2 winners. Tough tie, it was very hard to call. No one knew which way the victory would end up going, but it was Horsham's 3-2 winners. Great performance by the ladies. Basingstoke did go 1-up quite early on. The informed Bex Rostow after 29 minutes get an equaliser for the Horsham side. Now, both teams were pressing for an extra goal, but went into half-time with the scores dead level. 30 minutes after the restart, Shiv Isaacs managed to slot one away, put Horsham ahead. Now, Basingstoke were relentless, kept on pushing for the equaliser. They really wanted to get back into the game because this was a real big, important clash for both sides. They did eventually get one back, and at that stage it looked like the game would play out as a 2-2 draw, but Tiff secured the win for the promotion hopefuls. Not to say it wouldn't have ended up a draw though, because the final 10 minutes were both sides really going for it, end-to-end action, but Horsham held on, got the 3-2 win. In the men's hockey this week, it was an unfortunate defeat for the men's 11, 4-0 down against the London Edwardians, who currently sit second in the league, so a great team, really looking for a title win, hopefully there for those guys. Horsham did go 3-0 down at half-time, which really wasn't a perfect start to a game. Second half was a tighter affair, with only conceding the 1 goal, but it still wasn't really what we were looking for. The first goal for the opposition did actually come after just 3 minutes. Horsham did try to impose themselves, but to no avail. Shots going wide, shots going over, and occasionally even hitting the woodwork. After 16 minutes, 2-0 to the Edwardians. And Andrew Isaacs, Horsham keeper, it wasn't for him, it could have been a hell of a lot more because he pulled off some fantastic saves. After the third went in, Horsham did create a few more chances, but still there was just nothing they could do about the opposition. And 5 minutes from time, the win was confirmed as the 4th goal was slotted away. Horsham now sits 6 points off the bottom of the table with only a few games left to play, so survival's going to be real tough. Horsham in the rugby, 14-5 winners against Deal and Betshanga. Apologies if that is the wrong way to pronounce that name because I really don't know. I'm reading it here and that's the only way I think it sounds. Horsham ate up fairly early on in the game, but by half-time the lead was down to just 3 points. Joe Wild went on to score 2 penalties, which secured the win for the team. A game with 2 notable mentions this week as well. A debut from Jolyon Nash, great for him to get a game for the team, and a welcome return to a full game for the previously injured Tom Johnson. So good to see him back in the shirt and getting a full run out. Horsham now 4th in the table, 4 games left to play, so let's see how the season pans out. Our last game in rugby this week is between Pulborough and Heathfield and Waldron. A relegation battle really between the two sides there, both seeing who would be able to stay up. Now, the league status for Pulborough no longer secure after a 26-14 defeat. 12-0 down early on in the game, and it did look like they might be able to get back into it. Half-time went in 7-12, so they were fighting for that win. They really did need it to keep their league survival going, but it wasn't to be. Now, Ed Coops put in a great performance for the opposition and did score an extra try, which extended the lead for Heathfield and Waldron and more or less cemented the win. Pulborough did take the game to their opponents and did score a fantastic try, courtesy of Nick Hayes, but as I said earlier, it wasn't enough to get the win, and now they'll be playing out the rest of the season purely for pride. So, see you next week with hopefully some more news.
Thanks for that, Russ. Good to see you back, mate. Full of beans. Beautiful. Now, we normally do a competition at this point, but I've managed to have a sneaky word with Seafarer, the guys that are running the competition to win the holiday for 2. As you know, last week, it should have been the last week, but I've managed to get an extension for another week, which gives you another chance to get in and get entered. The link's on the screen now. Get involved and good luck with that one. That we will be announcing the winners in next week's show, I promise. So fingers crossed on there. Now, for all you families out there, we've got a lovely little clip of the newly released today film Peter Rabbit. Go to the clip.
He's a classic underdog. He's a rascal.
Sorry! Wait, didn't you try to eat me? Show me your teeth. It was you! I knew it! How are you? So good to see you.
Oh, Peter Rabbit, lovely. Takes me right back, it does, to being a youngster. Anyway, it's talking about rabbits. We must be talking about Easter, which is obviously coming up very, very soon. Now, the Horsham Rotary Club are holding their Easter bunny hunt again. And they've been doing this for a number of years. And their entry form for that will be available from the 26th of March. So you've got to get onto their Facebook page, which is on the screen now. We'll also be printing that in that week's edition. And the competition actually runs over the whole 2 weeks of Easter. So get involved. Okay, well, that's it again for this week. Thank you very much for tuning in. Don't forget to comment, like and share. Always very much appreciated. Also, don't forget, tonight I'm going to be out and sleeping with some chaps from the Horsham co-working lot. They've come to join me, God bless them. You know, the temperature's going to be looking good. It's looking like -2 around about 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. So, you know, that's going to be fantastic. But the link's on the screen now. If you want to donate, please do. Thank you so far to the people that have donated. Yes, it's going to be difficult. I can tell you that much. But anyway, without me rambling on, have a lovely weekend, and we'll see you at the same time, same place next week. See you later. God bless.
Does it? This is riveting.